Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. It's Thursday night for Above the Cushion right here. Brought to you at the offices at 81 Speedway, the official podcast for Humboldt Speedway and 81 Speedway. We're headed toward a full fender weekend at both speedways with the Dirt Crown Series. Oh, got my phone going. That's a bad deal there. This is my first day. But of course, Tane Murphy with Team Fencing in the house with us. We got a few things to go over. Stock car race is going to happen at Humboldt Speedway tomorrow night with the Dirt Crown Summer Series, and of course here at 81 Speedway with the Dirt Crown Summer Series once again. We were just talking about car count, hoping to have maybe run a B feature tomorrow night. Definitely, we'll have to maybe run a couple qualifying features on Saturday, as we have a very large car count already with the stock cars plus the traveling series coming in. Big money on the line, so we're gonna draw a few in for that one. We got to thank some sponsors here for Above the Cushion, of course, Tane Fencing LLC. If you need a brand new fence done, you need some repair. We had a huge windstorm. You and I were talking about that last couple of weeks. So if you need some stuff done, reach out to Tane Fencing and let them know that the Speedway sent you. Also, the official trophy sponsor for Humboldt Speedway and 81 Speedway, Hornet Cutting Systems, back with us here, partnering again. Took a couple years off, and they got their business just booming and selling machines like crazy. So if you need some metal fabricating machines, of course, Hornet Cutting Systems, right up the road from the track, about 5 minutes from the track right to their front door. Hornet Cutting Systems, get over there if you need some metalworking equipment, water jets, lasers, plasma cutters, and of course all made right here in America. Got to thank Humboldt Music for providing some of the equipment in the studio. Need to thank them, great people over there. If you're looking for some podcast equipment, maybe you need a new guitar amplifier, something, maybe you need a new cord, for whatever you got going on, go over there to Humboldt Music on East Douglas across from East High. In the house with us again, Tane Murphy here, Team Fencing LLC. You've been out in the sun today, doing a little couple fence action. You got the crew working. I told you I seen the train, the trucks the other day after you got done with some stuff, and of course on the Facebook, you guys are always posting the stuff you get done, and it's just it's beautiful work.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys do a fantastic job. We just actually buttoned up a job I haven't posted on social media. Up in Hutch for a customer that was almost 600 linear feet, and had a big 15-foot cantilever gate manual for a customer. And I was just talking with the office staff the other day about it, and I thought it turned out fantastic. So, absolutely.
Yeah, you had a pretty cool one. Because you guys do, if someone just wants a picket fence, you do that. If they need a wrought iron gate. Some places where people live, you have to have the wrought iron gate. Do that, but you also do some custom stuff. I saw, I think it was, a 6 or 8 foot of wrought iron fence, and then you guys did 6 or 8 foot of a picket fence, and just that just gives that extra aesthetic to a property for sure.
No, absolutely. The wrought iron and wood privacy split, we did that for a customer. Sam was a repeat customer that we did some work for him here in the Wichita Metro, and he actually bought a house up in Newton, so a repeat customer we always like. And we actually did that same style of fencing on his house in Wichita, to where they didn't want to feel like they were boxed in. Mm-hmm. And so we did the 8 foot of wood and then the 8 foot of 6 foot tall wrought iron. But yeah, there's lots of, various styles that we do all the time. Mainly our bread and butter is your wood privacy, your wrought iron, more of the residential market. But yeah, we try to meet our customers' needs and try to get creative. Sometimes people pull these Pinterest type projects and pictures off the internet, and costs can get carried away pretty easily.
Oh yeah.
But we try to be unique. We have kind of our standard fencing, and we have a way that we've perfected it, I think. Just from quality standpoint and the way that we finish it, the way that we do our gates, whether it be, a wood privacy gate or a wrought iron gate, things of that nature that just, I think, help us stand out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Talking about going to the races, you don't, of course, guys super busy. You guys, I think a few weeks ago you told me you were 6 or 8 weeks out on getting some stuff done. Of course, the storms did you absolutely no favors. Of course, if you got a good customer and a branch fell on, you got to get over there and get them fixed up. But what's someone wants to get you out and look at something, kind of what are you looking at for a time frame?
We do pretty good turnaround. Most of the calls come to me and are either vetted through me or Miss Mathias in the office, Jamie. And then, within 24 to 48 hours, give or take, sometimes 72, if she's really booked up throughout the course of the week, to get on site to do an in-person estimate. And then from that process, we're, 12 to 24, sometimes 48 hours to get the quote out to the customer. So we try to, do our best to have a pretty quick turnaround. And that's one thing that we tell all of our customers coming in. I mean, like right now, with all the wind damage and everything that's, we've seen here in the last several months, our repair schedule is just absolutely insane. We're about 8 to 10 weeks out on repairs.
Oof.
So a lot of that we're kicking down the line just because we don't want people to wait,
Right.
if they've got kids, dogs, whatever it may be. So our new construction jobs right now, we're trying our best to push to stay, to that 3-4 weeks out time frame. I know my guys, the vast majority of them this morning before they clocked in had over 36 hours. So that's another thing is in this heat, we kind of had the break there last week at the end of the week, and then here today it was miserable again, but we had some wind. I know people complain about the wind, but I like the wind.
Yeah, it
when
helps.
it's 100 degrees.
When you're sweating, the wind
Absolutely.
helps you out.
And so, they do a fantastic job, and we had some jobs that we were going to try to do today, and I actually took mercy on them and went ahead and cut everybody loose a little after 5, and we're going to pick up and start again tomorrow at 7:30 with a couple jobs. We always roll into Fridays well in the overtime, so Fridays is always for the crews and most of the employees. Is we try our best to get those guys in and out on Friday, to kind of have that 2.5 day weekend type, just to give them a little extra break.
Right. Speaking of the heat, you guys, of course, are outside all the time. So, what's some tips you can give to some race fans to try to stay cool in the heat of the, racers especially? They got to put the fire suit on, the helmet. They got to get inside a car that's just steaming. What's some tricks that you've learned over the years to just try to stay cool in this heat?
Oh gosh, it's funny that you asked me that because that's been a hot commodity here at TM Fencing here the last couple of weeks about people staying hydrated. We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago. So anybody that knows me knows I'm kind of weird. I drink hot coffee all day long.
Okay.
If I'm out in the field and on site with the guys, I might drink a couple bottles of water. So I'm not the best person to ask, if I'm honest. But yeah, we hand out hydration packs to them. We've done it both ways where we provide water and ice to our guys, just obviously stay hydrated. They're supposed to bring water jugs, so a little bottle of water if you're working in 100-degree heat and you're setting posts and throwing around 80-pound bags of concrete and hand digging holes, you can pound about 6 or 7 of those real quick. So, having a big water jug and some of those hydration packs obviously helps. I like the Gatorade. I don't know what it's called, but it's more like a hydration drink.
Oh, the electrolyte one?
Yeah, without all the sugar and all the junk in it. You know, a lot of guys drink those body armors I see out on the cruise. I don't know if that keeps them hydrated or they just like it, but
Change of pace.
yeah, maybe. Obviously, you know, we're in the day labor world, so I see a lot of Red Bulls, a lot of OG Monsters.
I was gonna say, you get wake up in the morning and pound a Monster Energy drink and get going.
A lot of Pall Malls.
What happens?
We run on a different type of fuel out there on a daily basis. You know, people always, I just don't understand how you guys just are out there working all day, you know, and customers come out of their house and they got a handful of waters and, oh my gosh, you guys must be thirsty, you know. These guys are blowing down energy drinks and inhaling tobacco or whatever it may be, but yeah, we're a different breed. Once you get used to it, you know, it is what it is. I've worked outside my entire life, so I'm definitely used to it. I'm a little bit more, you know, in the background today, a little bit more fortunate. So I'm not out in it, but I guarantee today was a bear.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I work inside in the air conditioning. You could tell when it got to the heat of the day, the building got 10 degrees hotter inside, and everyone's like, "Oh man, it is like brutal outside." I have a buddy. I have a great friend. We've been friends for 41. We've been friends for 41 years, and he's in the construction business. Does some excavating stuff, and I always ask him, I'm like, how are you out there in this heat in jeans and a long sleeve shirt? And he basically says like the long sleeve shirt keeps the sweat inside, and then it's real thin, and then like you said, the wind comes through and blows, and it's kind of like air conditioning inside. I'm like, I'm just gonna have to take your word for it because I'm sweating just looking at you.
No, absolutely. I've seen it both ways. Most of my guys wear shorts. I have guys that wear shorts and tights and long sleeves and a shirt over it, and then, you know, maybe like a bucket hat. You know, we handed those out.
Right.
And then I've had guys wear full face coverings to where you can barely see their eyes, and they're like that all day. So if I'm outside working, I don't... And this is kind of a touchy subject too. I like to take my shirt off. I mean, it's 100 degrees out, crying out loud. I mean, in some residential neighborhoods, obviously, we don't do that, but we do a lot of multifamily projects, you know, meaning duplexes and things like that. And most of the time, people are pretty cool. And fortunately for all the people that are watching us, most of us are in shape because we build fence all day long. So, you know,
you don't want me out there. That's not going to happen.
It's not too bad on the eyes, but some people, you know, the stereotype is that it's, you know, not professional.
Right.
But anyways.
You know, you mentioned being outside your whole entire career. You know, how did you get here? How did TM become what it is?
No, absolutely. I guess kind of the short version is, you know, I'm originally from Hayes, America.
Yeah.
And
have an old boss from Hayes.
Okay.
The Ottleys.
Okay. And you know, grew up basically right out. I went to vocational school in Beloit. And did masonry, learned masonry, and then after that just basically went right into the workforce. You know, I was stubborn and hard-headed like most kids that are getting out of high school and want to go work every day for the rest of their lives, and worked in the oil industry for, you know, about 15 years off and on through the ups and downs of the economy. And you know, farming background growing up, so I always, you know, had that to fall back on, always worked with my hands and enjoyed it, and working with animals and things like that. So I moved to Wichita Metro in around 2016 and worked for a commercial landscaping company for a while, and then got the opportunity. I worked for a gentleman, we did landscaping, and then he did fencing as well. Mainly kind of for builders, that was his niche. And he had some stuff going on, and he decided to kind of move on, and he took a superintendent position in Kansas City. And at the time, he had some fencing jobs that he had said he was going to do. And the funny thing about it is I was the landscape foreman, and we always kind of, hazed the guys that did the fencing. And or we always said, well, you ever want to build fences, we did landscaping and sod and rock beds and things like that. And so, he gave me the opportunity and entrusted the work in me. And so that's kind of how it started, the latter part of 2018. I started with $600 worth of tools that he lent me. And it took me about a year to pay those off. And, I hit the ground running. I had some guaranteed work at the time. And that carried me for a little while. And so then in 2019, I moved up to Buhler, where I live now, and I got a full-time job, worked up there in the agriculture industry, and they were really awesome, about being somewhat lenient as far as my scheduling when I did have jobs to allow me to do it, but mainly for, a year or two, anytime I had fencing, I did it during the nights and weekends after my full-time job to try and kind of just make it work.
Yeah.
And, right before pre-COVID, one of the builders that I got my start with, he had some duplex projects that was coming up, and I had that, and then I was fortunate enough to meet another gentleman that really kind of has paved the way and introduced me to a lot of people's kind of in that market. A lot of those people in that market here in the Wichita Metro, and at that point in time I had, enough work. It was kind of time where I had to decide if I was going to jump in the pool or not, because there's only so many hours in the day. And so it was just my daughter and I at the time in Buhler, and she was finishing up school, and, it was a rough road because I was gone so much, and it was just her and I for a long, long time, but slowly but surely we've made it work, and we've worked our way into the residential market here in the Wichita Metro and kind of, I like to think, I guess, become a household name. Mm-hmm. And another thing where we've kind of always strived to, go 50 to about a 75-mile radius of the Wichita Metro and branch out into more rural communities, Reno County, McPherson, Harvey, etc., to provide those customers that maybe live in a town like Mountain Ridge or Inman, for instance, a high-quality price at a decent, or a high-quality product, I should say, at a decent price.
Right.
A lot of times in those smaller communities, it's, your brother's uncle's cousin builds fences, and we have awesome relationships today with all of our vendors, so we can build you a fence, really cheap and still give you a really awesome product, still use a galvanized post and then, do some other variations within that wood privacy fence to cut cost, but still have something that's going to be stable and have some longevity for years to come. Or we can, give you a premium style fence where we're, top of the line material from start to finish, and you're going to get even more, stability and longevity out of that particular product for years to come as well. I mean, it's my goal, if I'm driving through a community, and I do it all the time, I look at fences that I've built, and if I see something that looks wonky to me, I will literally stop, and I'll go knock on the door and be like, hey, I built your fence, if sometimes they remember me, sometimes they don't. I want to adjust your gate. This doesn't look right to me. And they're going, okay,
Yeah.
Most of the time people are weirded out by that, but that's something that is mine,
Right.
Even though that I'm building it for my customers and something, I look at it kind of like as a baby of mine, a child. I want to see it for years to come. And we were out on a job a couple weeks ago over in the Park City community of Ironstone, and we had built a fence a couple years ago, and we were setting posts right next door to it on a fence, and we had a crew there, and I was kind of helping running the crew, and I was looking at that fence, and I was like, man, I just kind of want to I don't know how you could capture this thing. It's just so beautiful still,
Right.
And it was a hybrid fence as well.
Okay.
Wood sides, and then they've got a lake in the back, so we did a wrought iron back, and it just really flowed out. And it's 2 to 2.5 years old or so, and she still just looked beautiful. So I was proud of it.
Yeah. That's a very, like you talked about, when you got enough, you got a full-time job, so you got stability, right? You're going to get a check every week, every 2 weeks, whatever. But then there's this extra side work, and that's really your goal. That's a very scary moment for a lot of entrepreneurs, people that get into that. Some people, they never take the leap. They just keep doing the 2 jobs because they want that stability. But it takes someone really dedicated to just say, okay, stability jobs got to go, because the dream is there, and I gotta chase it. That's a tough spot for a lot of people.
No, absolutely. And I've through the years read a lot of books and listened to a lot of podcasts and things like that, pertaining to entrepreneurship and business ownership, because when I started, I was just winging it, and learned a lot of things the hard way. But from day one, I always wanted to do things the right way. And that's, I guess, it's a double-edged sword, because unfortunately, especially in the Wichita Metro, I see a lot of companies, whether it be in my trade or, an outdoor, related service, whether it be, sod, landscaping, sprinklers, where companies are, maybe doing things on a shoestring budget, and maybe they have general liability and workman's comp, maybe they don't.
Right.
And so I always wanted to do things the right way, and I never really have taken from my business. I have always invested everything back into the business and invested in growth. Whether that be in equipment, I always wanted to take pride. You see my guys out, and like you said, you saw the train of trucks, and that's something I take pride in every single day, is sending all those guys out, and hopefully, they've got decals on them, and they're washed, and we've got nice equipment, and we've got, stand-on skid steers and things like that, to where guys, we're not using, junky equipment or things that are breaking down, because I just wanted guys to take pride and initiative in their work, and just having nice equipment and things like that as well. But I guess to go back to kind of what you were saying, I mean, it's very scary.
Right.
When you're working to eat and to pay your bills, and if the phone doesn't ring and you don't have that W-2 paycheck, it can be very scary at times, and there's still a lot of times that I operate on that mindset to where I'm go, and I can be, if I'm honest, being a little bit of a bear and stressed out, and the phone's ringing off the hook, which is a good thing.
Right.
It's a blessing and it's a curse. Just learning to handle all that. So I got to learn to take a step back, and I'm very, very grateful and fortunate today that we are where we're at, and very grateful and blessed with our customer base.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, speaking of taking a step back and relaxing, you're going to get your. I have to always say, like, every time I see the trucks you mentioned. Of course, you take them over to Autotech, who's a partner with us here at the Speedway. You get them serviced, you get them taken care of. Of course, you're always looking good. Your shirts are always nice. You see your guys, you got them in great uniforms, and the trucks are lettered up, and everything looks so good. But tomorrow night, tomorrow morning, you're going to get everyone going. And then you're going to hit the road, and you're going to join us over at the Bull Ring in Humboldt, Kansas, for a little bit of Dirt Crown Summer Series action with the stock cars. You've of course, as you always do, put money up and put challenges to people, and all the stuff. Of course, merchandise. There's some backpacks I saw. There's some koozies. There's some frisbees. There's hats. All the stuff. So, kind of talk about how I'm always curious how people find their way to the racetrack. I've talked about it a million times. People are sick of hearing it, but my grandpa's brought me to the racetrack, right? And they're gone now, so I don't know how they found their way to the racetrack, but I'm always curious on how people find their way to the dirt track.
No, absolutely. And all this stuff actually brought in for you, Andy.
Oh, right on. Look at that.
So here's the koozies that we're going to be handing out. Oh, there you are.
There it is.
Hello.
We'll get that posted.
And I brought you a cup, too.
Oh, sweet.
I think you guys did make a post.
Good grief.
Yeah, so we're doing the Frisbees, the koozies. We're doing the flags, orange and black with the TM Fencing logo. We're going to hand a bunch of stuff out tomorrow at Humboldt as well. Mm-hmm. And then Saturday at 81. No, that's always an intriguing, I guess, thought process when I reflect, and I guess I'm getting older because I do a lot of reflecting. Like when somebody's riding with me, they're like, "Don't you listen to the radio or something?" I'm like, I just drive and think. But no, when I was a kid growing up, I guess we lived about 45 minutes northeast of Hayes in a little town in Natoma. So the Rooks County Fair, which is actually going on right now, racing tonight, I think is a Dirt Crown sanction, maybe.
I know a friend of the Speedway, Tane 79, who's a great announcer for IMCA. He's done some racing dirt stuff as well. So I believe that he posted he's there tonight at Rook. I think that's one of his local tracks.
He does some of the Heartland stuff, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyways, when I was a kid growing up, 3 brothers, we didn't necessarily have a lot, but every year we looked forward to in August, which is also right around my birthday, is going to the Rooks County Fair. And a lot of times, we got a set amount where we got to spend. But during that time, there was always races. And you always, it's just like pulling up to this place every Saturday night. If you're pulling up while the hot laps are going, I mean, it gives me chills just thinking about it.
The noise, you can see the dirt
Cars,
in the air,
the smell, the dirt in the air, just the excitement. And I guess, as a young kid, that was something that always intrigued me, And we didn't go a whole heck of a lot, but my cousin and aunt and uncle, they went to the races a lot. And then I had a friend growing up, his stepdad was a racer. And so he worked for a company that did some sponsoring and stuff. So it was always cool to go to the races, whether it be a Friday or Saturday night, and be part of the group that was, handing out koozies, or got to go into the pits and, had a car that, that was sponsored and, just kind of feel like you were part of it.
Right.
And, I guess over the years I kind of lost track of it, moving from Wichita or from western Kansas to Wichita, and I knew there was a racetrack here. So a couple years ago, Amber brought me out to the races to watch Fast Freddie Freeman in the 020 race, and that was the first time I had been to the races in quite some time. I had been up to Salina and a few other places just kind of like once or twice a year to watch a buddy race IMCA stocks or hobby stocks. So I came to the races here, and I was like, from start to finish, I just loved everything that you guys do here. And, I guess that's kind of a good segue, and reel me back in because I have a tendency to rant and rave. But how fortunate we are here to have not only one, but 2 fantastic racetracks, fantastic facilities, awesome car counts, people that love the sport of dirt track racing as much as I do, as much as you do, as much as a lot of people do, that come out and support these two facilities every weekend, that take that pride and initiative day in and day out to trying to provide the best product possible.
Right.
You know, if you have your finger on the dirt track racing, you know, pulse world, and that's kind of in my downtime. I watch a little YouTube when I unplug and whatnot. But for the last 4 to 6 weeks, there's been a lot of rumblings.
Yeah.
You know, about, you know, certain tours in, you know, the Northeast and whatnot, and about them trying to jam-pack divisions in and jam-pack, you know, this and races getting over at 1, 2, 3 o'clock at, you know, in the morning. And the way that you guys do things here is like a well-oiled machine.
We try.
And you know, whether it be JR and Katie, G and John Allen, you know, I just want to give you the tip of the cap for the fantastic job that you guys do. And that's what makes it so easy for me to support you guys and to do the things like what we did last year with the stock car extravagance and what we're doing this year with the Dirt Crown. And, you know, the partnerships that I do with FOE and, you know, and then, you know, through the racing program too, and with TD and the 65. It's just so enjoyable to work with people, you know, that are so, you know, passionate about it as I am. You know, I get excited about it. And the first time, you know, I ever sat down and met with JR and we were talking about it, and it kind of the same question along like dirt track racing. And it's like, if you know, it's, you know, you're walking up and like I said, you get the chills and you're doing the prayer and you got the national anthem. And I mean, if you love it, you love it. It's just, it's usually one way or another. And people, you know, people don't understand why, I guess, but I mean, it's just something that it gets in your blood. You know, I always use the example of like some people are boat people or lake people, or some people are, you know, UTVs or, you know, four-wheeler people. It's like, I love dirt track racing. Yeah. And I'm very fortunate and blessed today to have the ability to support you guys and to do cool things like with the stock cars. And I look forward to it. You know, I've been stoked. You can ask anybody in my office, anybody that's close to me. I've been looking forward to this for several weeks now. And I think it's, you know, on that note, the stock car guys here at 81 Speedway and at Humboldt, I think hands down, if you put our group of drivers, I think we have one of the most competitive groups of stock cars at 81 and at Humboldt, probably not only state, but maybe even regional. Oh, yeah. And I think that's what makes this weekend so intriguing. Right. You know, these guys, every weekend there's probably 5 to 10 people, you know, especially here at 81, that you don't know if they draw good or, you know, if they get a good pill draw, they're going to be competitive. Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of guys that have been sneaky fast all year, but maybe necessarily haven't seen the results yet. Right. That's what, you know, Bo Davis and I are pretty good friends. Our daughters are, of course, our best friends, but we talk about stuff, and I always just kind of say to him, you should have done this. And he's like, I can't risk it, because if I go down there and do something and I make a mistake, I'm going to the back. They're too fast, they're too dangerous to mess around. And same thing with,
of course, we run the Mid-America factory stock rules over at Humboldt Speedway. We also incorporate the stock cars in with them. But that group of factory stock drivers, they, have I think it's a 5 or 6 track, kind of thing that the Mid-America factory stock runs. And any time that our locals go somewhere else, they just put it to them.
Right.
Dallas Joyce, of course, points are insurmountable at this point over at Humboldt for the factory stocks. Dallas Joyce is going to be your 3-time champion at Humboldt Speedway, and he's probably one of the baddest factory stocks in the country. I mean, I had some tough luck at Texarkana a few weeks ago, but that when you get a big draw of cars, it's all about the pill draw. It's all about how the luck kind of shakes out for you, and if you get stuck in the back of something, it's tough to get forward. But I put the Mid-America factory stock class, I put them up against anyone because they go out and they do, and same thing with our stock cars here, because we run that kind of the close that IMCA
Right.
type rules. They go over to Salt City Racing and they put it to him. They go to Salina and they put it to him. Jace Reimers, I don't know how many wins he's stacked up, on top of what he gets here on Saturday nights, for at 81, he goes everywhere else and puts it to him as well. So I mean, it's you come mess with the fender cars at either one of the tracks, and it's not going to be easy. You're really going to have to be on your game because they got it figured out around these 2 tracks.
No, absolutely. And I'll be curious to see who's up to the task.
Mm-hmm.
The last couple weeks and talks with the guys over at Autotech and Midwest Wrap and Glassman, I poke my head in there from time to time, and
That's a tough group over there.
Yeah, it is. I think at times they're like, man, this guy again. But the God's honest truth is I'm trying to separate myself from the job site, so that gives me an easy spot to go talk some dirt track racing and look in on cars and talk to the guys. And now, all jokes aside, but that was one of the reasons, like we did the $1,000 to win.
Mm-hmm.
That was brought up as an idea to me. And it was like, yeah, you just throw like $250 on it or something, or maybe $500. I was like, well, let's do $1,000. Let's get some guys, because I think Humboldt as a track, as a facility, and I'm guilty of it too. You got to work Friday. We all have commitments. You got things going on, and kids and things like that, and jobs, and
right.
It's a place that I would love to visit, every Friday that you guys are racing. It's an awesome facility. It's usually awesome racing, very competitive.
It's a great drive.
But what can we get or do, to maybe throw a little cherry on top to get some, entice some guys
right.
to make the drive Friday? Let's, do the pit pass thing, and you and I I think we're, top 15 maybe?
So for everyone that's not got on Facebook, top 15 for 81 Speedway, top 15 in the weekly championship points. You go race Friday at Humboldt. Saturday night, your pit pass is going to be taken care of. Same thing with the Humboldt drivers. Anyone from Humboldt, our Humboldt regulars, of course, you race Friday, and then come over here Saturday, your pit pass is going to get taken care of as well. The only caveat to it is not going to be allowed to run the factory stock rules Saturday at Humboldt. You will. It is a point show, and so factory stocks can run their rules Friday night with the Dirt Crown tomorrow night. But then when you come here Saturday, part of the contract obligation is not going to be able to run those rules at 81. So that's where we're at with that. So top 15 for weekly championship points. Head over to Humboldt tomorrow night, and if you show up and race, then of course Saturday the driver's pit pass is going to be taken care of.
No, absolutely, and it's just something that I wanted to do for these guys. I know, it's not a lot, but it's something to maybe entice them to make the trip, and then, that $1,000 is, until we start taking pictures in Victory Lane tomorrow at the Hummer, that $1,000 is is a real possibility for a lot of these guys, if they're willing to travel, for sure. And then vice versa, if those guys are willing and if they're able to get their hands on some wheels or tires to make that transition to 81. There's a lot of those guys that I hope to see here. I know that you mentioned Dallas. He's one that is super fast. You know, a couple times I've seen him race over at Humboldt, really fast and really competitive. He's one that I like to see Saturday night here for sure at 81. Sounds like you're trying to do a few things behind the scenes to make that happen, and that's awesome. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how it shakes out. You know, we've had a lot of talks, a lot of discussions throughout this week, the last couple weeks. You know, what can we do, ideas that we can do. So I think we've gave them a reason. I think everybody on your end, on the social media side and whatnot, has done a fantastic job advertising and getting it out and making social media posts this last couple weeks. You know, unfortunately, one thing that we can't control is other racetracks. Right. Unfortunately, which is frustrating, but
it's part of the business.
I get it. We've got an intimidating group of stock car drivers here at 81. And if you want to go cherry pick somewhere, I mean, that's on you, I guess, at the end of the day. But the show's going to be here. And it's going to be at Humboldt on Friday. I think anybody that knows and has been to these two racetracks and has seen these drivers knows if you want to compete with the best, you know, you're going to be here Friday and Saturday night.
Yep. For anyone that's not seen the payout, drivers, if you're looking for it, it's $300 to start, it's $1,500 to win each night, and there is a $1,000 sweep the weekend bonus. So if you can win Friday night at Humboldt, come over here on Saturday, it's an extra $1,000. So potential to have $4,500 for the weekend, and of course. The Dirt Crown Series, something new, and we're going to have them at both speedways. Looking forward to that. I've been looking forward to it since it's been on the schedule. But like you said, you want to beat the best. Friday night at Humboldt, Saturday at 81 for the stock cars is where it's going to be. You know, we had when FOE Enterprises purchased the speedway from the Whitworth family in 22 over at Humboldt, you know, we tried to bring back the A-mods. That was a big thing. They wanted to get the A-mods going, so we had a sweep the weekend bonus. It was an extra, I think, $200 or $250. It was up for grabs every single weekend.
Okay.
And only two drivers, I think 3 drivers got it done. Tyler Davis was the first one, Tad Davis, and then Peyton Phillips.
Okay.
So 3 of the baddest A-mods, you know, and it took several weekends before we got the first one. It took several weekends to get the second one, and it was tough because that's another tough crowd at both speedways.
No, absolutely, and I love A-mods and racing, and you know, A-mod racing. The first time I saw A-mods here at 81, you can hear the difference.
Oh, yeah.
If you're used to watching an IMCA modified, not to say there's anything wrong with those, but then you come watch and listen and watch the open mods that run here, it's, you know, night and day difference.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, I wish we had A-mods tomorrow night, but I mean, half one dozen the other. It is what it is. We're going to have them Saturday night, and we're going to have A-mods next Friday. And I look forward to traveling to the Hummer again next Friday.
For Heartland Series.
For the Heartland Series, and we'll watch those guys rip. And then also just to get another race, you know, in at that track. It's kind of, I think back through the year, I'm fortunate I go to a lot of different dirt tracks. You know, so it's just kind of going different places, watching different, you know, cars and shows, and venturing out is just something that I enjoy. But, you Yeah, absolutely. The sweep the weekend, hopefully that'll entice some guys. You and
Yeah.
I were kind of talking before we went on, so depending on how many guys can sneak away from work and stuff like that, hopefully 5 to 10. If there's guys listening in, maybe they can weigh in the
Right.
comments and let us know. There's some guys here at 81, like I was saying earlier, there's 5 to 10 cars, that could be competitive, that could, go to Humboldt. Maybe they haven't seen the success this year, but they've been sneaky fast, that makes the trip tomorrow that might end up in victory lane.
I've heard, so Joey Richmond chiming in, he'll be there.
Awesome.
So we were talking about that, Joey. I was thinking it fell on your off weekend, so Joey in the 82 will be there. He's been there a couple times this year. His brother Jeremy, of course, Austin Ramey's been there. Bo Davis hasn't made it over there this year, been super busy at work, and of course he's got kids' activities going on, but he picked up a Battle at the Bull Ring stock car win a few years ago over there, so he knows how to get it done. Kyle Kozlowski in the 2K is going to be with us. I saw him post that. John Allen's going to race with us, so he's got the Cadillac car tuned up and ready to go. I know Dallas Joyce talked about him. I know he'll for sure be there Friday. I'm trying to hustle up some stuff for him, of course, on the backside of everything, and try to get him over here Saturday. And I have a couple people helping me out. You know who you are, and I appreciate you helping us get Dallas over here, and hoping we can get everyone over here.
Absolutely.
Just get everyone and see how it goes. Looks like Austin Ramey, George Ramey's going to be there on the 55 RX. So I mean, it's looking like a pretty good field of cars just from our local our weekly stuff, getting over there and trying to get rounded up. I mean, it'd be awesome if there was more than 30 and ready to go. Of course, on a weekly basis, you support the super stock class. That's a good class. It's a good field of cars. They're fast. Jared Reimer is having a little bit of issues with his unit, so we've seen some other people peril and get the win, and they were part of the bat race. I don't think you were here last weekend.
I wasn't, but I watched it live.
Yeah, they got they were the bat race redraw, and we had a lot of fun with that, and that's a new added twist to the redraw, so that was fun to see them. But is there something about fender cars that you just absolutely love, or is an open wheel car? What's your favorite class?
Boy, that is that's like a trick question. I guess kind of a sidebar to that is when I originally reached out, I think it's been 2 years now, 2.5 years to the racetrack, and Emily and I met, Emily Davis, and we just kind of talked, and I really just kind of, to go back to what I was saying, I just wanted to do something here and get involved one way or another, whether it be a banner or something, and we kind of shared ideas, and she was like, well, we have a class to sponsor if you're interested in that, and I kind of at that time had a set budget that I had set aside going into that year of funds that I was going to delegate. So we split some funds for a banner, and then we sponsored the super stock class, and then the rest of the funds slowly but surely ended up being the stock car extravaganza that was last year. And then we kind of tried to revamp it a couple different times too, to make it more enticing for guys and whatnot. So that's kind of a little bit of backstory. And then I think the super stock class as a whole is a fun, intriguing class, because it's not necessarily that those guys, and I'm sure they're still spending quite a bit of money. Racing isn't cheap.
No.
But it kind of gives a class for some of those guys that are more of a weekend warrior type, to be competitive and go out. So that's, one thing that I enjoy about it. And, I mean, unfortunately for Jared, which you said he's kind of had the gremlins this year and whatnot, that has made for some interesting and awesome racing in the super stock class. To see the 5-star win the race. I was able to meet Jason McGee later on. He was kind of in the same space, worked for a company that I do some business with, one of my vendors, and got to know him, and we ended up, being able to chit-chat from time to time. So that was very unfortunate for the racing world. Fantastic guy. So it was nice to see that car win. I wasn't able to be here that night either, but I was watching on Racing Dirt, and I'd be a liar if I didn't say I didn't have a couple tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
Getting to know him and whatnot. But no, I think A-Mods has kind of grown on me. Being a partner on with TD on the 65 team, and being able to kind of travel to some races and watch him race, makes it a little bit more interesting to kind of have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
I like sprint cars,
Yeah.
and I get kicked for saying that.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay. This is a safe space.
But it seems like we get bit. This is the second year in a row we kind of got kicked in the stomach on some of the sprint car stuff.
Yeah.
Some years I do some traveling up to Lakeside. My oldest daughter lives up there around OP, Overland Park, and so we hit a lot of sprint car shows at Lakeside, another facility that I've been to and frequented quite a few times. But the stock cars is kind of one of those classes that's growing on me.
It's growing on the whole country. Stock cars is a big thing right now.
I would agree, with that. Again, kind of having a little bit of a finger on the pulse of the dirt track racing world through, YouTube and things like that. Also very expensive at the end of the day, but something a guy, maybe can be a little bit more competitive in. I'm sure there's guys that go out there and spend a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what it is, whether it be a super stock or a stock car, or, but it's interesting to see how that super stock class is going to grow, and a lot of grumblings over maybe what doesn't happen with the 316s and yet to be determined. But a lot of those guys, if they wanted, could invest that car or chassis into a super stock and be able to go out there and rip, and probably be competitive. So I know Chris is building a super stock. So, we've tentatively had some talks, maybe. May or may not, maybe be on the side of that, whether it be this year or next, we'll see. I've debated, if I'm going to be honest, maybe putting a super stock together.
There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're getting somewhere.
I've been kicking the can on a lot of things, if you know
54 minutes in, we finally got to the meat and potatoes of this deal here. All right, now we're getting somewhere.
Oh, goodness. Are we doing good?
Yeah.
You need to cut me off.
Keep rocking.
Cut me off, so. No, it's one thing that, I've been kicking the can on. JR and Tyler and I were actually discussing it the other day. JR was kind of poking fun at me. He said, if I'm going to do something, I need to get an A-mod. I've never driven a race car. I drive like I'm driving a race car out on the highway. If you've ever rode with me, knock on wood, haven't got a speeding ticket for a while.
Yeah.
But then again, I enjoy coming to the racetrack, and it's kind of that's what I do to unplug. I like to sit in the stands. I like to visit with the people. I've gotten to, meet a lot of the regulars around the stands and visit with people, talk to JR. If we're at a race, sometimes we go in the pit, sometimes we don't. Amber and I just enjoy I should say I enjoy just sitting down. I've got normally a coffee, a water, my chewing tobacco and just unplugging and watching the races. So I told Tyler, I was like, maybe if I do end up building a car, I was like, you guys are going to haul it from the shop, and you're going to drop it off. I'm going to race it. If I wreck it, I'm going to change and go sit in the stands, and that's going to be the end of the night. That's
a real racer right there. You got to get you a Cody. You got to get you a Cody Hool. Takes it to the track, gets it ready. You just walk up with your helmet and get in it and race. That's what I'm talking about. You're already a racer right there with that statement. Give them the steering wheel back and hit the stands.
What are they? Bag carriers or something like that?
Yeah, they got
helmet carriers or something.
Yeah, they got a name for it. It's changed over. I can't helmet princess or something. I don't know. Yeah, there's we got a good. Of course, we got a good field. There's a few of them that get you a Cody Hool that gets your car out there and get you ready and get going. But everyone else is tough and ready to rip. Sometimes you get the wife out there. Every once in a while, I see the wife out there grinding tires and doing stuff, and I thought, yeah, got that one figured out.
No, absolutely, and that's like jokingly. I was like, man, I'm gonna have to. I was talking with Tyler. I was like, I'm gonna have to go and like shadow Cody or something. And but then again, like we went to Arrowhead a couple weeks ago and watched Friday night, and that's another awesome facility, dirt track. But anyways, we go out in the pits and kind of chit chat, and then they're getting race ready, and just kind of leave them alone and go do our thing up in the stands, and but yeah, I'm not the best mechanic either. I think DP4 could probably attest to that. He probably gets tired of seeing my name come across his caller ID too. We try to do a little bit of maintenance in-house, oil changes and stuff like that, but a lot of it I take over to Autotech and just let them do it. They've been a fantastic partner to us, over the last couple of years here as far as our vehicle maintenance, and now slowly but surely they're starting to do all of our trailer maintenance as well. So you're not going to see me turning wrenches a whole heck of a lot. I don't.
That's okay.
I'm going to be the right guy to be talking about setup change or anything like that, or tightening the car up. Just
always remember, you don't see Kyle Larson working on a sprint car.
There you go.
I mean,
hey, we can all have dreams, right?
That's right, 100%. You do go to, you talked about it, you do go to a lot of racetracks. You venture out, been over to Lucas Oil, you've been down to Arrowhead. I like to ask people, especially racers, what's a track that, doesn't matter, right? You're like, okay, this is the track. I'm going to get in the truck. I'm going to, pull the trailer. I'm going to go race at this track. What's a bucket list track to watch?
To go to watch? Eldora, most definitely, and then oh my gosh, what do we got here?
Just let anybody in the gate at this place.
Hi everybody. Hello. The star has arrived.
He's been here. He's been here for an hour. What are you talking about?
Where you been?
We went to have dinner and
gosh.
work on the scoring loop.
All right.
Oh, wait, hold on. You're gonna work on the scoring loop so all those transponders work.
Well, if people would mount them correctly, would be the first way I'd like to start with that. But yeah.
Oof.
Hey, Chris.
The real boss is here too. Hi, Katie.
You weren't kidding about the entourage. Who else is there?
Dude, I'm telling you.
People follow me.
You thought I was. At Slot King Chris in the house with us.
Say hi.
All right, have you? Come on in here, buddy.
Chris,
You got the $100,000 shirt on.
I know it.
Oh, Love Shovel's here too. I told you. Brings the entourage.
How you doing, guys?
You been over across the street?
Not at the little
Not yet.
one yet.
Little 81's over there.
No.
He owns it. Chris owns that place across the road over there.
Right.
I wish.
Little Slot King Chris casino good and built.
Yep.
You want to?
We got a little transponder work that's going to happen here on the track.
Yep.
Yeah. Try to get it figured out.
Where are you guys running?
We're gonna put it in my Camry.
You can put it in your Camry and
Robert
run.
said he didn't think I
This
could
guy
go
don't
to
run.
65.
You gotta make race car noises when you go across the Galapagos blue and black out there.
I think I could find the ringtone race car on my iPhone.
Yeah.
Just use that one.
There you go. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, you got the $100,000 shirt on. That's for sure. It's a good looking. That was an awesome race
Come in here
for
for a
Ryan. Yeah,
second,
come in here a little bit.
So you can get on camera.
There you go.
The
There you go.
Reaper.
Got the Ryan Gustin shirt. That was a good race. Have you talked to him?
Oh, yeah, several
Yeah?
times. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it was I haven't watched the full race, but I've seen the clips and it's real good. I'm
Going good.
hopefully we can see him here in a few weeks.
Oh, he's looking forward to it.
Yeah.
As long as the weather cooperates.
Yeah.
You know.
I think we'll be good. Don't jinx it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on
Last
now.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, knock on wood. No, we'll be good.
All right. Well, you guys are going to go do some transponder work on the track, make sure everything's ready to rip.
You betcha, guys.
I told you they rolling. He rolls in.
Full entourage.
He rolls in deep.
You weren't kidding.
It's like a rap. It's like a rap star. full thing happens every time. And then they leave all the lights on too. I'll never get it. We'll go back.
Knew we should have locked the door. Have these hooligans come in and interrupt what we were talking about. Where were we?
I don't remember where we were. I do have a question though. You sit in about the same spot.
Oh, racetracks.
Racetracks. Oh yeah, Eldora. You want to go to Eldora? What's another one? Have you been to Knoxville?
And then Knoxville Nationals.
Yeah.
Most definitely. PDC.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be. Sorry.
That was
Prairie Dirt Classic in.
Brian Shirley won it just a couple weeks ago.
Gosh dang it. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Fairbury.
Fairbury.
Mhm.
That looks like an awesome. Some of those racetracks kind of in the UMP world.
Yeah.
Late model country up there. Just go see those guys like
They got
Jason
some
Fagers and
tiny
stuff.
tracks.
Yeah, I think that would be
They
very
got some like
cool.
fifth mile stuff. They send 24 modifieds around. Yeah, it gets a little. Brian Shirley won the Prairie Dirt Classic a couple weeks ago, and that's a pretty cool. Like victory. I don't know if you call it like a victory lane celebration, whatever. But they take them to the bank. And
Yep.
that's a pretty. They kind of drive it through I think they drive it through. I don't know how far the bank is from the track or whatever, but drive the car over there. If you're not seen, I'm sure you can Google it. Google it on the interwebs and see that. But that's a pretty cool celebration to go over to the bank and kind of do that victory lane type of celebration.
No, absolutely, and like watching like the YouTubes and like I watch like a Chase Holland and they rant and rave about that place and the town and how they embrace it,
Mm-hmm.
and the community opens their doors to
Oh, yeah.
dirt track racing fans, and I think that kind of ties into everything that we've been talking about. I mean, it's just good people from top to bottom,
Mhm.
and the dirt track racing community. And like, I think that'd be really cool to go and watch, and just to go out and venture into the community. That's one thing that we like to do a lot, is kind of find that hole in the wall restaurant or something like that.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, and go eat good foods, and hit some antique shops or stores that you wouldn't normally see or do. That's kind of what we do when we venture places and go watch. There's a couple other places, but it's just there's only so much time in the day.
Right.
And let's see, let me think about this. Lucas Oil was one on the bucket
Mhm.
list. We crossed that off this year. I've always wanted to go to Arrowhead the last couple of
Mhm.
years we've been there. So we were going to go to, what is it? Salina, Oklahoma, Salina High Banks.
The High Banks, yep.
But we came back to 81 to watch that Saturday night, so that would have hit another one. It's always interesting to see kind of how people operate,
Mm-hmm.
How they do things, what's in the concession stand, to compare. And, at the end of the day, again, and not to just rant and rave. Hands down, I've been to races where they're doing opening ceremonies at 9:45. Saturday at home, watching on Racing Dirt, I looked at my clock. My son had fell asleep, and it was about 10:05, I think, and we're getting ready to bust out Rocky Top.
Yeah.
I mean, that's start to finish, in and out, everything, you know. What was the
Right.
car count Saturday?
Upper 80s.
Yeah. So, fantastic car count. We didn't have any Bs, but,
No.
I mean, everybody ran for the most part. Was a good night of racing. But, yeah, I mean, that just another testament to what you guys do here day in and day out.
You know, of course, you talk about, like entrepreneurship and trying to, understand business a little bit more. And that's one thing, that's about the only thing I give JR credit for. He's pretty smart about that. And I see it from the booth. We get done with a certain class and the stands will kind of clear out and, but there's so much stuff going on. There's all this, everything's on your phone, so we have, a limited time to entertain people and I have 4 children. One of them's going to be 18 here in a few months, so she doesn't really count. I got a couple little kids, and you only got a certain amount of time to entertain them little kids, or they're over it. And so, we, Humboldt on Friday, prompt at 8 o'clock, and I'll tell you right now, it could be 8:01, and if we don't have opening ceremonies, John Allen's on the radio. What are we doing? Why is this not going? Same thing here, 7 o'clock on the dot. We even start sometimes just a little bit early because, you get 2 racers. JR's been a racer, been a race fan. John Allen's raced his whole entire life, did it as a living. And you don't want to be at a racetrack till 1, 2 in the morning. It's tough. It has happened. I'm not going to say it's never happened at both facilities. Sometimes it does happen. But it's going to be rare. It's going to be limited. And, I know a time ASCS National Tour was here. We had a little rainstorm come through. Mm-hmm. We talked about it with the officials, and it, about a 5-10 minute little thing. They were like, let's farm it, let's race. And if you stayed and stuck it out with us, I think we got done, 11:30, midnight. But you saw a green to checkered, one of the best sprint car 360 sprint car races probably to date.
When was that? Was that 2 years?
2 years ago.
I think I saw that race.
Yeah.
And funny about that, you and I had a conversation about this a couple weeks ago in the stands. You were able to slip down.
Yeah.
And we visited a little bit. And I'm one of those people, and I don't like to leave early.
Right.
And I get, everybody's got kids, and
right.
What's fun to see is like week in and week out. And 2 weeks ago, you had the Park City night, and there was a lot of people, and you can always tell the new people that come to the racetrack, and maybe they got some frosty beverages, and they're getting tuned in, they're having a good time, and it's like the first heat race comes out, and it's the stock cars, and they're going nuts. Stock cars put on a good show, but I'm like, just wait a second, it gets better. And it's, throughout the course of the night, it's like, I get it, people, we're in a society of instant, we want everything now, and okay, but it's like, we still have features to run, and they're leaving, and it's like, wait, don't leave.
Where are you going? Don't leave.
And the good stuff's yet to come, and a month and a half ago, I brought a bunch of my employees out, and they had never been before and experienced a dirt track race. And same thing, they came out and heat race, and Tyler was racing that night, and I think Rick was here as well.
Yeah.
And then 22, and so we kind of had 2 cars, and so they were super, the heat race, and they think it's over. I'm like, no, there's more.
A lot more to go.
One guy stayed for the whole night. Mm-hmm. And I think Tyler ended up finished second that night. It was a Heartland, I think, sanctioned race. But we got to go down on the racetrack and took a picture, and you know, he was super. But it's like, I get it, you know, you're always on to the next. But as far as the time thing, and just to go back to that, you know, the race that I was kind of referencing, and it doesn't matter where or who, but I mean, yeah, you're doing opening ceremonies at like 9:30 because you're trying to do all the silly stuff. And then it was, you know, for the feature that we wanted to watch, I think it was after 12 or right around 12, and there were still 2 more features to go.
Yeah.
And very, very rarely do I ever leave a racetrack early, and we left early. I mean, we were burnt out, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And we were ready to go. And the stands at that point were basically empty. You know, and that's a shame for those guys that are running maybe those support classes and things like that, that, you know, don't have the crowd support or whatnot. But, you know, I get it. Certain people have their things that they like. It's just like when you come out to watch, you know, the big sprint car shows, whether ASCS, as you mentioned, or, you know, the Outlaws.
September 6th for the ASCS national reschedule.
Hopefully I think, I'm not sure if I'm able to make that or not, but, I mean, no, absolutely. They come and they watch the sprint cars and they leave. It's like, hey, there's still a lot of, you know, a lot of good cars back there getting ready to run features. You know, you're missing out on a good show still.
A couple of weeks ago, over at Humboldt, for Extrusion Zinc Midwest Mods, arguably they have a little bit of trouble sometimes getting a feature going. You know, great group, is always a big draw. You know, but they ran last, and at that time, you know, not a lot of people in the stands. They went green to checker. That happened in 4 minutes and 23 seconds, and it was top to bottom, front to back, cars everywhere. The leader lapped up to like 6th, I think. It was awesome. So if you weren't there, you missed just a absolutely awesome race. That's why you got to stick it out to the very end. And another thing that, you know, when I was a kid, I couldn't wait till the races were over because I got to go down in the pits and talk to the drivers. And, you know, there's just people that don't experience that. And I say it every weekend, every Friday, every Saturday.
Yep.
Once we're done, that final checker flag flies, that gate is going to open, and I hope you go down there, meet that driver, shake their hand, buy a T-shirt, tell them thank you. A lot of these drivers have hero cards. They'd love to sign it, to give it to you. It's absolutely free. They don't charge you for that stuff. But get down there and see, get close to the car, meet the driver. And there's just a lot of people that don't do that anymore. It's kind of gone away from the old days of you know, I know we don't pit in the infield like we did when I was a kid, but the gate is right at the south end of the grandstands. Get in line, they'll open it up for you. You go out there, you know, just got to be cautious. Cars coming in and out, moving, and some trailers moving here and there, but get down to the pits and see the drivers and see the cars and get up close to it.
No, absolutely. And I think, you know, people have that, you know, at least the opportunity. You know, it's you know, normally around 10:15, 10:30. Right. You know, on a normal week, at least at 81. I assume it's probably similar at Humboldt.
It's not too far off.
But that's another topic of discussion, kind of like what I touched on earlier, is that we're trying to jam-pack everything into a night, and then it gets so late where 90% of the crowd already done left. And, I mean, people don't have the opportunity. I mean, by that point, you know, 12, 1, 2 o'clock at night, they're ready to go home.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you've been wrangling some kids, and you got ketchup all over your shirt or whatever it may be.
Coffee's not hot anymore.
I think that's a big part of it, too, because that takes me back to what we were discussing earlier about when I was a kid and being able to be out in the pits and see the cars and see the guys working on them. And if, you know, for me, I always was drawn to a particular number or a color on a car. I'm like, you know, when I saw that car come out on the track or I saw it in the pits, you know, I was like, man, you know, I want that guy to win. And you know, you went into the pits as a kid and you know, you got a hero card or you got an autograph, whatever it may be. I think that's very important for keeping the sport, keeping the bloodline going and keeping people intrigued and interested in it. If you get the opportunity to go out into the pits and meet your driver and walk around and do those types of things, no, absolutely. And there was something else that you touched on, and I had a light bulb. I can't remember what it was.
I don't know.
But
while you think about that, I got a work buddy, guy I work with named Zach, and him and his wife and they have a couple kids, and they have like a little game that they play. So they sit towards the south end down there, towards turn one, and they like heat race one comes out and they pick a car. Who you got? And the kids will say, "Oh, we got this, that, whatever." So there was some people that had not been before on Park City Night, had not been with us before, and they said, what are you doing? And he said, oh, it's just a little fun game. We just pick a car and whatever. Well, then, so they had like their whole section in on the betting. Like everyone's picking a car and getting into it. So that like I said, what's your favorite number? What's your favorite color? Just something like that, and just pick your winner for that heat race or your feature.
No, absolutely. We're talking about getting people in the pits. So I challenge everybody tomorrow night and Saturday night, come out a little bit earlier and go walk the pits, talk to these guys and get some hero cards and take some pictures and get some autographs. A couple of weeks ago there was a group in the pits of little kids, and I was standing there talking to Tyler, and the kids all came up, and the little kid was standing there, and he was just dead set on me signing his shirt. I said, I'm not a driver. And he was just looking at me, so finally I signed his shirt. So
no, that's what it's about. These guys are they're guys. They're all great people, and they become, friends of mine, and they love the fan interaction. As you guys know, the fans are what this is about. That's what the bat race is about. I don't know if you all talked about it.
Yeah.
Wasn't listening there, but
oh, thanks.
I always listen, Andy. I'll go back and listen to the show and
on your
tomorrow.
secret Facebook.
No, I can just hit the play on my wife's phone. But no, we're excited to do the Dirt Crown race. TM Fencing Tane just has been an amazing partner to the Speedway. And I know a lot of racers have used TM Fencing, and I've heard nothing but rave reviews, and we've used them in my own business as well, and they do a great job, first and foremost, and second of all, we all know that we support those that support racing,
right?
And I can't thank Tane enough. To be fair, without a guy like Tane stepping up, the Dirt Crown Series at 2 racetracks wouldn't happen.
Right.
It's a critical part of racing and racetracks, his sponsorship and his loyalty. He has ideas, great ideas from the beginning of these things, from what we do, how the event should go, T-shirts, koozies, frisbees, the redraw, everything. We've bounced things off each other actually since the beginning of the year, but the last couple of weeks we spent a little more time with each other, and I can't tell you drivers enough to thank him for an event like this, because without him it couldn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about great partners that we have at both speedways.
It's just did the math here before I came, and not that it matters to the public necessarily or even the racer, but over $50,000 being paid out this weekend at 2 nights, Friday and Saturday. So it's a risky proposal. It's a scary thing for any racetrack. Of course, World Outlaws, those things gets up above that, but this by far is the largest races we've had in the stock car world. And we're excited. We're really hoping people turn out and choose 81 Speedway to come race.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we were talking about the Humboldt having a dangerous field of stock cars. 81 Speedway has a dangerous field of stock cars. I mean, that's...
As you know, there's a kid named Dallas Joyce over there in a tractor stock that might whoop your ass every night. 100%. He's amazing, great driver, great car. Peyton Taylor, I think, maybe helps him on that a little bit or something, but... That's a kid that, man, I know you were working. I don't know if he's coming to 81 with the correct tire and wheel package, but that's a guy I would challenge myself.
I'm missing a wheel.
What size? What's the offset?
I'd have
5 on 5.
5 on 5 stuff.
What's the offset?
I'd have to look at the offset I'm missing.
I got some at the shop right now.
There we go.
Yeah. So whatever we can do to get these guys to come over, man, just call the Speedway if you're missing one little thing here and there. Between myself and Tane, we're gonna figure out a way to get you here.
You're missing a whole entire car. Probably can't. Probably can't make that work.
We've done that a couple times too. Mike got rejected on one of them, but we won't talk about that live on the air unless you already did. Did you?
No.
Which one? Well, he was talking about the blackout super stock you guys are going to build for him.
Well, we
Think that, so I was unaware of this.
We want to get Tane in a car,
Yeah,
for sure.
100%.
And what we told Tane was, don't start off in a modified. Get out here and drive something with a wide tire that you can really feel the racetrack and kind of learn.
I don't think you even want to start in a mini stock. There's like 40 of them that show up on a Saturday night.
Tane gets ass whooped in the mini stock. No, I'm just kidding.
Mini stock field is tough here.
I'm excited. I think I know he's talked about that, and he has any opportunity he wants to jump in one of our cars anytime and just kind of get the feel of it and see if it's something he likes. We all know that the problem is that once you get that feeling, man, you know how it is, Andy.
You're hooked.
Yeah, I still fight with my wife all the time about getting back in the car. I know I sucked really, but I still want to come back.
They should.
Don't say,
They should admit it.
You don't want to beat up live on the air.
Well, you beat me up live on racing dirt the other night. That hurt a little bit. You're walking through and you hit me in the ribs.
Don't recall.
Yep. Figures.
I heard it on the broadcast.
Yeah.
I don't recall it.
Yeah.
Take it up with HR.
Yeah. That's the problem. That's the problem. Her complaint file's too big from things that you do. She can't. She won't be able to get to me.
The suggestion box.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and to be fair, we are very open to suggestions. Just don't do it Saturday night after the races. That's what I always tell people. And it's really just because the 14 hours of work that's gone in for the day, and it don't always turn out as good as we want it to either. So, hit us up. We like to talk about it. Again, Eric Kick and the bat race and helping come up with that idea. I thought that was really cool, fun interaction. And Chris Kratzer out here, Wichita Tire and Alignment, Socky and Chris. Go follow his YouTube channel. Without him, we wouldn't have these big payouts we do for the USRA Modifieds as well. And again, Tane with the Super Stocks and the stock car race. And he does a lot behind the scenes that people don't know about. He probably helps more racers than people probably know.
Oh, yeah.
And I know what that takes because I'm in the same boat. And so we appreciate him and everything he does.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Did you get a transponder deal happening?
Yeah, so I think we're going to put a post out tomorrow.
Okay.
Just quick information for drivers. The old-style transponder, the square one, if you will, it's a little bit of a rectangle.
The yellow one from what?
They're all yellow still, but the yellow one that's a square rectangle, it has a silver decal on it. And the silver decal needs to be facing the racetrack, okay, on your car, facing the racetrack. If you have a newer style Western yellow transponder, it has a rounded top. Rounded top. The flat part that has the two metal tags on it faces the racetrack. I've had a lot of trouble here the last few weeks where when we get these cars to inspection line, they're just not on right. It's going to cost you as much as it is anything else.
Oh, yeah.
After the hot laps, if we're not reading it, we probably aren't scoring you very much longer.
We do not hand score.
Well, I wish that was the case, but I don't want to.
Right.
Is what that comes down
We're not
to.
equipped to hand score a 24-car A feature.
Yeah, we get it. Sometimes things happen, but if you can, if you have any questions, please ask. We're going to put some posters out tomorrow showing how the transponders need to be mounted. And again, if you have a weak reading in the hot laps, we're going to let you know.
Yeah.
But just make it better for yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
So we scored. We made sure it won the timing loop. So we had Scott Robbins with Sword help us out. Glenn Ritter came out. We redid all the scoring loop wires, if you will. And we just tested it. Chris Croucher just ran his tour of Ken and won the racetrack several times. And but I ran half the field, it looked like. But anyway, it scored very high, very, very high. The hits were very high. So if you have it mounted right, we know it reads correctly. Ron, the love shovel, was holding the transponder 3 feet off the ground, and we were reading in the 260s to 300s. Just to clarify, it reads 1,000 hits per second on the scoring loop. So if it's reading in that 200 to 300 range, that's amazing. A lot of cars in the last few weeks have been down in the single digits. And that's scary for you and for us. So we just proved it's not the scoring loop. So now this week, we're going to test again, and we'll let you know in hot laps if yours is not reading correctly.
And of course, if yours is plugged in, you got to switch it on.
Happens every week.
Every week.
All you wired in guys, never turn them on.
Never.
Never.
You get I hear the yelling from the booth.
Well, the hot laps for us, we don't really pay. I don't even look at the racetrack. I literally just focus on the screen to look at hits, battery. We can tell you battery strength, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So we know everything about that transponder, and when it's not reading good, my goal is to write those cars down, because I know later they could be falling off and not being scored. And that's not good for anybody. We fixed them all last week. We didn't not score anybody because of the transponder, but I think there were 7 cars that didn't read every lap.
There was a few cars just watching it on my side.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're on one. They're running second 1 lap. They're not dead last, not transponding 2 laps.
He's a good friend of mine, so I'll just throw him under the bus. Alan Blevins comes running up to the tower, and he goes, "Hey, I'm not in the redraw. I need to be in the redraw." I said, "You are. You really racing on the bat?" He goes, "Well, in the scoring, it doesn't show me." And I said, "Yeah, because your transponder doesn't read." And he said, "What's wrong with it?" And I said, "You tell me which one you got." And he told me, and he said, "Oh, crap. I have it mounted upside down. The sticker's facing the roof of the car." I said, "There's your problem." He fixes it, goes back out, and reads in the 200s.
Joey Richmond
You don't want to talk with him.
would like to clarify
Say something.
placement on the stock cars.
Joe, I mean, you're gonna try to give me a technicality. I'm not the rule guy. Believe it or not, I don't know what they're teching, when they're teching, or they don't tell. You know that.
Yeah.
I never know. I don't want to know. I don't care. It's not my deal. But I can go to the 81 Speedway rules page.
81speedway.com, HumboldtSpeedway.com. You can go to the rules tab.
Yeah, let me just try to get there as quick as I can for Mr. Richmond. That obviously doesn't have a computer or phone. Somehow he's talking to us.
He's talking on Facebook.
I don't either.
But he will be with us tomorrow over at Humboldt.
I know, he texted me last night, said he's coming over.
He always has
You know what Joe Richmond said to me?
I can't wait.
I don't really care what it pays in the back. I just want to know what it pays to win. That's what he said, guys.
Good mentality to have.
He knows how tough those factory stocks are over at Humboldt.
Yeah, Joe's been on a few times for us throughout the last year and this year again, and he knows Dallas is a tough cookie over there, and some other cars, and he's had a little bad luck over there as well, but Joe does a great job. I'm just giving him a hard time.
IMCA is firewall, 81 is rear end.
Yeah, they're going to make them all be the same.
Right.
So we're probably going to go to the rear end on that. If we're 81 rules, that's what we're going to probably do. So I'll clarify that with John, Joey, but again, I'm literally not the rules guy or the tech guy. I don't know anything they're doing. I mean, I understand the rules, but I'm not the enforce guy.
Yeah, I mean, we have a guy for that, Tech Man Butch.
Yeah, he DQ'd my nephew. I know.
Hey, it wasn't right.
No, it was illegal. It was right. The car wasn't right.
Joey needs a new tire.
Joey needs a new tire.
Joey needs a
couple good
Bill's race cars.
Absolutely.
Go see good friend Nick Ballman at the big corner.
Nick Corner, we'll go right down to Bobby. You bet your car he sells tires.
He sells tires down there. I don't know. Maybe he's got to get I don't know what he wants there. He needs a new tire.
People in hell with ice water. I don't know.
You got a ha-ha from the other room. I don't know. Okay.
No, I'm good friends with Joey. We talk a lot. I sponsor his fishing team. He's a big bass fisherman, and we kind of help him out every once in a while when we can.
He's been on the show.
Yeah, no, Joe's good. Great guy.
Great.
I wish him nothing but even greater success. He's a great racer. Hell, he was walking away with the heat race here in the world. I think it was 2 weeks ago, and I don't know what broke, but something happened, and then that just puts you behind the 8 ball in the feature, and especially in this field of stock cars. And I can't imagine what the stock car field is going to look like this weekend. So everything's going to have to go right for everybody.
Oh, it's going to be a big deal. Monster truck got him.
Did I'm talking about that. Offline, Tane and Tane knows this. I think I texted 70 plus now drivers to come to this race. Not just the guys locally. I'm talking anybody that has been in the stock car in the last 3 years here.
I know there's some people trying to rent a ride.
Yeah. I think Tane had a couple of rides wrapped up there, and one fell through here late. Guy wanted to focus on the other program, and I think the other one's still happening. So
Okay.
pretty excited about that one. Going to see Brian Fran in Stockholm. When he's coming out, he's going to be tough. Of course, the Professor John Allen himself's going to be racing at both racetracks. Hey guys, just tell me now if he gets spun out from the tower, I may not have seen it. I own one. Just saying.
Well, wasn't looking that way.
No,
Wasn't looking that way. I didn't see that.
We kind of touched on that earlier, that if you want to race against the best this weekend, Friday at the Hummer, Saturday
That's right.
here, if you want to beat the best and race against the best, this is where you need to be. If you want to go cherry pick somewhere else, that's fine. I mean, we get it, but I think we're going to have the best field of stock cars, not only probably week in and week out, but Friday and Saturday especially.
That's like I said, it's $300 to start the A feature. It's $1,500 a night to win, and if you can pick up both of them, an extra $1,000 in your pocket.
Yeah, and there's a few other little things going on. I know Allied Batteries called me and said they're going to maybe do some lap things and some different things that they're going to let me know on Saturday. Hot Rod Chicken, which I'll tell you about later. He's going to do a couple things there. I think it's just going to be an exciting race. And like he said, I understand racing. I get it. I'll never understand racers' math, but I will tell you that I get it. I understand sometimes you think, man, I could probably go somewhere else and maybe win that race. And I get that completely. But you also miss an opportunity to race against the best. And to be honest, you're going to get paid pretty damn good just for unloading your race car. You're going to run in Humboldt on Friday. So, we know you have a choice. And I don't get mad. You should be able to race wherever you want, when you want. This is just the one weekend that I think you're the one missing out by not coming as well.
Absolutely.
And we just want to have as many cars here to put on a show for the fans and for the drivers. The drivers want this competition. I know I've talked to several drivers that have been looking forward to this race since last year. So we're pretty pumped about it. I'm more than excited to get back over to Humboldt on Friday to watch the action. And really, I don't even know who's going to win over there. It's going to be pretty amazing. A lot of these guys don't race over there a whole lot. I mean, of course, Dallas has got to be a favorite over there to start off. And
Ty McGowan's been fast.
Ellison kid and always fast. He's come over here and raced with us as well. And just again, what Tane's done, buying pit passes and those things for the top 15, plus the guys coming from Humboldt. I mean, where else you got to go to get that done? That's just that's awesome of a sponsor. And we're just more than excited. It's a $50 entry fee for your race car, your pit pass, and you're guaranteed $150 back just for unloading. That's your tow money. And if you make the year, you're $300, you're less than $300 to start that new feature. So it pays good all the way through the field. So you don't have to be the only one worried about winning. I know some of you guys worry about the back money, but it's there too. So and that's courtesy of TM Fencing.
And if anyone wants to throw an extra $20 on 5th place or something, you please just let us know.
And please get a hold of, you can either call the Speedway on that or get a hold of Andy or Emily. They always do a really good job keeping a spreadsheet so we know what we're doing on that because payouts become difficult. But just again, I can't thank Tane enough. It's we're excited about this weekend.
It's going to be a good one.
Bring them on.
So
I'm leaving.
all right. Bye.
See you, buddy.
talk back.
We got you. We got you. Well, we're about an hour and a half into this. I think we've covered just about everything. Okay, I do have a couple more questions. I got 3 actually. Question number 1: you sit in about the same place in the stands every single weekend.
Okay.
What is it about that spot in the stands?
The people that sit around us. We've gotten to know them, so it's just kind of our spot. Ironically enough, if you sit too far down, you got the flag tower that blocks your view. So sometimes we try to sit up a little bit higher, but then you get the sun that kind of beats on you a little bit, which doesn't really bother me. Depending on the group, sometimes you come in and you've got to go to a different area. But that's just kind of the reason why, just kind of sit in that same spot. I always like to visit with Bob, so if I'm at the racetrack, I always usually go say hello to him and his buddy, and then some other people. The Stoners, always sat up there, and we always sat next to them. And then kind of in that same vicinity. But yeah, that's the reason why. So
Okay. Orange and black.
orange is my favorite color.
Okay.
If you didn't know that.
I didn't know.
I love orange. But that's kind of how this all came to fruition. A good friend of mine actually made my logo from Gossel, Kansas, James, and that's the reason for the orange.
Okay.
is I love orange.
But so how come no orange? Hey, you got white trucks. How come no orange trucks?
Well, that's a good question.
I know a girl that could wrap them all orange for you.
Yeah. We were trying to talk her into wrapping a particular stock car today, and they didn't like the timetable that they were given. So
She never does. You could give that girl 365 days to get something. She's going to complain it's too tight of a timetable.
white trucks is. I had a white truck, and I'm OCD like that. I wanted them all to be white, and I'm, for whatever reason, a Ford guy. So all of our trucks are Fords.
Yeah.
Whether F-150s, F-250s. White, so everything kind of matches.
Okay. Third and final question before we get out of here. Rocky Top.
You gotta love Rocky Top. If I don't hear Rocky Top when I leave the facility, you can ask Amber. I'm listening to it sometimes 2 or 3 times on my 40-minute drive to Bueller.
Yeah.
It's just part of the, I don't know, the whole night.
Catch that when where, like, was that like from, when you were a kid, did they play at the racetrack, or did it come from a movie? Or what?
That comes from you guys.
Okay.
A couple years ago, before I was a partner here through FOE in the racetrack, and I'll try to do a long story short here real quick.
You're fine.
We'll cut it off. But when I met, this was several years ago, and Tyler wasn't, I don't think, running a USMTS circuit then. But he was running A-Mod, I think, kind of weekly here at 81, and then running some other pick-and-choose type schedule.
Yeah.
And it seemed like every time I came, Tyler won A-Mods. And then we played Rocky Top. And then one night we were walking out of the facility, and there was somebody. They said, if I have to watch Tyler, get you to swim one more night. But it was just, so I told Emily that in passing, later on when I met her and became a partner here with the racetrack. I just think that's a funny story.
Yeah.
But you guys always played Rocky Top to close the night out.
Yeah.
So it always seemed like Tyler Davis won, we played Rocky Top.
Yeah.
And so if I come to the races, and I've talked with JR about this a little bit, and then you as well, like, I've got to get Rocky Top. It's just not the same walking out unless we got Rocky Top. So
Yeah. There you go.
I'm a fan of old country music anyways. Sometimes you get in that mood, mindset, you got to listen to it. So that's in one of my playlists. But you guys got me hooked.
Yeah.
You or whoever started that tradition. Now it's,
Here's
here's
the
a truck on the way home on repeat a couple times.
Here's the trivia. Do you know what racing movie that's in?
Stroker Ace?
Six Pack. The kids sing it. The kids sing it in the Winnebago going down the roads. From my favorite. That's a favorite movie is a Six Pack. Well, it's been a good night. Of course, they've not taken off, so we'll hit them up. Again, want to thank you for being a partner here at the Speedway. A great friend, not just a partner, a great friend, part of the family here at both Speedways. It's a big weekend. A lot of money on the line. We couldn't have done any of this without your support, without everyone else's support in getting the Dirt Crown Series here for the stock cars. And as Bo Davis said, stock cars are rock stars. And then I like that one. And stock cars are making a big move, and we're looking at big car counts, huge money on the line. I'm really wanting to see someone sweep the weekend.
Absolutely.
It's going to be that's a added bonus to get here. And like you said, you want to go run somewhere else, that's cool. But the big money and the big show and the greatest cars are going to be right here Friday night at Humboldt, Saturday at 81 Speedway. For everyone, of course, we want to thank you guys for tuning in on Thursday nights. We want to thank you for being at Humboldt on Friday nights. We only got a few more nights left in the season over there. Still got some tight points battles. Of course, we talked about Dallas Joyce. He's going to be your 3-time factory stock and stock car champion over at Humboldt. Points races are very tight here at 81 Speedway for the rest of the season. 316 mods. I know there's some controversy going on. We'll revisit that on another show, but the championship is complete. Ryan McInich is your 2025 JLR Property Management 316A modified champion. We're going to get him on the show, talk about some racing. That guy's been racing for ever. We're going to get him in here and we're going to talk about it. So still got some tight points championships to happen for the rest of the season. Still got big shows coming up. ASCS, we got World of Outlaws going to visit the Speedway for the late models and the sprint cars. It's going to be a good one, and I think that's all I got. Appreciate everyone for tuning in every Thursday night here for Above the Cushion. Hope to see you tomorrow night at Humboldt Speedway. Hope to see you Saturday at 81 Speedway for the Stock Car Dirt Crown Summer Series event. Get again $1,500 to win each night. $1,000 sweep the weekend. Got some merch stuff that's going to go out to keep your water bottle cold or your frosty adult beverage. It's going to be a great time.